Some breaking news here. A New York appeals court has issued a ruling in Trump's $455 million fraud case where Trump was seeking either a smaller bond or to forego the bond requirement altogether. The court has handed Trump a lifeline in the form of a reduced bond. He'll now have 10 days to secure a $175 million bond, down from the $500 million he was initially slated to pay. The court also paused a few of the restrictions that were put in place by Judge Engoron, including the prohibition on Trump's ability to run a New York company, to get a loan from a New York bank, and for those prohibitions to extend to his adult sons for 2 years. The court did leave in place, however, the extension of an independent monitor, Barbara Jones, to oversee Trump's business finances. Now, a few points here. This does not mean that he'll no longer owe $455 million. It simply means that while he appeals his verdict to prevent Attorney General Letitia James from seizing his properties, the amount that he'll have to put forward is $175 million. If he can't find that amount, then the AG can start seizing those properties, but in the meantime, the $175 million would otherwise satisfy that requirement. To that point, Letitia James said that Trump is still facing accountability for his staggering fraud and that the judgment still stands. This all comes after Trump was reportedly unable to secure a bond for $500 million owed, even after approaching more than 30 bond companies. Trump himself took to Truth Social and wrote, "Racist Letitia James's unlawful witch hunt is unconstitutional, un-American, unprecedented, and practically impossible for any company, including one as successful as mine. The bonding companies have never heard of such a bond of this size before, nor do they have the ability to post such a bond even if they wanted to," which prompted this response on Fox News, of all places.
We've also heard there's a lot of talk about this is unprecedented amount of money. This has never happened before, but that's actually not true. Let's take a look. This is from Letitia James, the Attorney General's own court papers. I'm going to show it to you right now. There have been bigger bonds in the history. Look, from $1 billion to $1.5 billion, that was a Carnegie Mellon patent case. Those are public companies. What is about the argument that this has never been this big for a private company? Well, there have been billion-dollar bonds secured before.
Yeah, I think that, it's certainly true there have been large bonds. It all has to do with the amount of the judgment itself. And here you've got a $500 million judgment. So you're talking about a lot of money. The purpose of the bond is to secure those funds for the plaintiff, here, the state of New York, at the end of the appeal to make sure they can collect. And so it says, hey, if you're a defendant and you want to appeal, you can do that. But we have to make sure to save the money in case the plaintiff gets to collect it. And so the bond is huge. There's no reason it can't be split up into smaller bonds. You could do 5 bonds issued by 5 different companies for $100 million, and I suspect Trump's team is looking at that.
The reality is that Trump couldn't secure the bond not because it's impossible or unprecedented, but for one of 2 reasons. One, his wealth is tied up in real estate that's clearly leveraged to within an inch of its life, and I say that because if it wasn't leveraged, he could easily secure a bond against the value of one of those properties, which are easily worth at least hundreds of millions of dollars. The other reason, Trump simply doesn't have the wealth that he claims to have, and that's what Trump doesn't want to admit, because his whole brand is predicated on this bogus notion that he's rich and savvy, when clearly he is neither of those things. All he has to show for himself is a lifetime of failed licensing deals that have all gone up in flames. Trump Airlines, Trump Steaks, Trump Vodka, Trump Mortgage, Trump Wine, Trump Magazine, Trump University, Trump Casinos, all failures, all leading to a presidency that ended in 2 impeachments, 4 indictments, and 91 criminal charges. Trump wants to convey an image of success, but all he has to show for himself are failures. As for the courts, frankly, it is a joke that the appeals court is carving out some special treatment for Donald Trump. If it was anyone else, I'd be hard-pressed to imagine them doing something similar. But because it's Trump, the court made this exception. He frames himself as the world's biggest victim, when in fact he enjoys more benefits, carve-outs, and special treatments than anyone else on the planet. If you're wondering what the practical effect of his constant whining is, it's this. It is convincing an appeals court that in fact he is being mistreated, and so to try and quell any further complaining, they might as well just throw him a bone. Of course, he will never stop complaining, he will never stop framing himself as the perpetual victim, but no one in positions of power really seem to understand that, and so they just let him continue rolling them. But what this shows us is clear. We cannot rely on the courts to save us. We've never been able to rely on the courts to save us. In terms of defending this country from the dangers of a second Trump presidency, that is up to us. We have to turn out in November. We have to make sure that the margins are beyond dispute. We have to deliver such a repudiation of Trumpism that the GOP realizes that it will not be viable as a political party so long as it continues to espouse Trump's agenda. That's all on us. Does it suck that no institutions in this country seem to be up for the task that is defending the court system, defending the Constitution, defending democracy? Absolutely. But that's the reality. So the onus is on us to save it. So I get that the inclination might be to throw up your hands in despair, but remember, that is what Trump and his cronies want. They want you to feel helpless. They want you to feel like the system is rigged against you. They want you to feel like you can't win. So do not reward those people by giving them exactly what they want. Let this inspire you to work harder and to ensure that they don't gain power. If your votes and your participation really didn't matter, they wouldn't be working so hard to take them away. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to the channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.